Hello and welcome to this tutorial on adding guns to a game in Crayta and adding more guns to a game in Crayta. So in this tutorial, I'm going to turn a game that has no guns into a game which has guns. And then I'm going to add a new type of gun so that we've got multiple different types of guns in the game. These are features that have been, these are tutorials that have been requested quite a lot. So I'm really pleased to be able to show this to you. So the first thing we need to do is I'll just quickly give you a brief tour of this level. So this is a museum that I've created. It's got lots of different assets in it from all different packages and all different times. And it's got lots of different guns, but none of them are usable at the moment. So if I run this game, at the moment I can run around and I can explore this museum, but I can't interact with any of the guns and I don't have a gun. I can't shoot anything. So we need to remedy that. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to install the gun package. We're going to add all of the scripts that we need to add to the player and the user, and then we will magically be able to have guns. So let's install the gun package first. So we need to do that. We need to head over to the community tab. And here we'll find all of the packages that you can get hold of in Crayta. A package is essentially a group of assets. It could be, it could include voxel meshes or templates or scripts or a combination of those things. And we're going to look for the gun package. So in the filter box, I'm going to type in gun. And you'll see that it comes up with a whole bunch of different guns. And we don't actually want necessarily any of these, all of these. What we want is the official Crayta gun package. So in order to get the official packages, you can check this Crayta packages checkbox, and that will then show you the single gun Crayta package, which is here. I'm going to click install, and what that's going to do is it's going to take all of those assets that are included in the gun package, it's going to put them in my library and give me access to be able to use them. If I navigate to the packages section of this library, which is only accessible in advanced mode, you won't be able to see the packages part in basic mode. You'll see that the gun package is in there. And if you click on the arrow next to assets, you can see that it's been downloaded and added to my game, as well as all these assets here. So the gun template, for example, and some scripts and some other templates. It's also installed two other packages. So the gun package relies on the inventory package so that we know what guns the player has, or the player knows what guns they have. And the crosshair package, which is the thing that you can point at people when you want to shoot them. So we should have these three packages here. We actually need one more package to make a successful gun game, and that's the health package. At the moment, if someone was to shoot me, I wouldn't feel it at all. Let's install the health package so that if someone shoots me, it can damage my health. Okay, so that's installed. You now should see in your packages, you should have 4 packages. Cool. So let's add the script from the gun package and the inventory package to our player and our user. So over here on the right hand side, you can click on the drop down to change what template you're editing. At the moment, we're editing our world. But let's change it so that we're editing our player template. The player template is the representation of each player in the game. It's their character. And by editing this template, we can choose what things are added to the character or spawned on the character, or what scripts are attached to the character in the game. So this is super important for the gun part of it, because we need to know that the character can carry the gun and what gun they've got and all that sort of stuff. So clicking on the player in the player template, we're now going to click on entity, create child, script folder, and you'll notice that we're not going to choose new script folder. You'll notice there's 5 script folders that already exist here. And the ones we're going to need to add to the player are the ones that start with player, which is a really handy thing about those Crayta packages. This is really good practice. If you're making packages and something needs to be assigned to the player, put the word player at the start of the thing that needs to be assigned to the player to help other people. So let's add the player inventory view, then click entity, add entity script folder, crosshair, entity, create child, script folder, health. So you'll see that now it's got all of those things added. It's actually added them as children of each other. So let's just remedy that. Okay, not quite done yet. We also need to click entity, add, create child, trigger, player head crit. So a trigger is an area in 3D space, and a trigger can detect whether something has entered or exited it. The player head crit is a trigger which will be put over the character's head, and essentially it determines if a bullet has entered that trigger, then deal the player critical damage because they've been shot in the head. So we're going to add that to our player 2. And one more thing we're going to add, create child, script folder, hit response. So it doesn't have player in front of it, but the hit response is really, really useful because that is a script which will show, and a widget which will show the player where they've been hit from. So we'll add hit response. So you should see 5 things have now been added to the player. Hit response, crosshair, head crit, health, and inventory view. That's our player template edited completely. Now we need to go and edit our user template. So click on the drop down again and head over to user. We only need to do one thing here. We need to click on entity, create child, script folder, user inventory. So we're going to add the user inventory to the user. The user is different from the player. The player is their character in the game, whereas the user is their interface between the player themselves and the game itself. So the user is a different thing from the player. The player is the character. The user is the user. Hopefully that makes sense. So we've got 2 things. We've got the user has its thing and the player has its thing, and that's all done. So let's try it out. Oh, look, we don't have a gun yet. We've got the inventory system. If I just use this, we've got the inventory system, which you can see down here, 1, 2, 3, although we don't have anything in the inventory system. You can also see we've got 1,000 health. 1,000 health for everyone. So what we need to do is we need to add a thing. We need to add a gun into our inventory by default at the start. So let's do that. Pressing F5 again, I'm returning to the editor and I'm going to click on the drop down, head over to user, because it's actually in the user inventory. You'll find that there's a subfolder called defaults. So this is where we can create a default loadout for every character when they join the game. I'm going to add in the item template, I'm going to click on the drop down and I'm going to select gun. So this has now by default given that assault rifle gun to everyone that comes into our world. Testing the game, you should be able to see I now have the gun and I can shoot. Shoot the floor, shoot the pillars. The pillars don't damage. That's okay. So I've now transformed a game which didn't have guns into a game which does have guns. There's a lot more to editing a game to make it into something like a team deathmatch, including lobby scripts and team points and all that sort of stuff, which I'll do a separate tutorial on another time. Now that we have guns in our game, what I want to show you next is how to add different types of guns in our game. So I'm taking you over to this particular exhibit on purpose because this exhibit shows a couple of assault rifles, 3 shotguns, and a whole load of pistols. So if I want to add these shotguns and make them so that I can pick them up, I'll show you how I do it with an assault rifle first. So if I wanted this assault rifle to be able to be picked up, I would replace it with the template of the gun. So if I go to the templates, click on the gun, I can actually put that in this world like that and replace that. Let's replace that. Ooh. There. And I'm actually just going to delete that one so it doesn't get confusing. Okay, cool. So I've added an assault rifle, and now this assault rifle can be picked up by interacting with it. So to make a different type of gun that you can pick up when you interact with, what you're going to need to do is duplicate the gun template and then change a bunch of the properties of that gun template so that you've got a different type of gun. So to do this, we're going to need to head over to the template section of our library, and we're going to right click the gun template and select duplicate. And I'm just going to type in here shotgun because I want to make a shotgun. So now that I've done that, you should see that the shotgun template has been added to your templates. And if I click on this drop down over here, I can edit the shotgun template specifically. So I'm going to do that. It's come in just like the assault rifle, which you've just seen me place in the game world. Except it's called shotgun, but it's still an assault rifle. That's because just because we named it shotgun doesn't change what it is at the moment. To do that, we need to change this mesh asset here. So we can change this to be anything. I'm going to look for a shotgun. So I've just searched for shotgun and select shotgun, and you'll see that the mesh asset has completely changed to be a shotgun type. That's the hard bit over with. Let's also change some of the properties of a shotgun. A shotgun behaves quite differently from an assault rifle. For example, the range is a lot less, so we can decrease the range. The spread is a bit higher. It shoots a bit slower, so the repeat timer is the amount of time between each shot if you hold down the mouse button. So at the moment it's 1/4 of a second, and I'm just going to increase that to 3/4 of a second. I'm going to change the shot sound so that it's the shotgun sound. Can't shoot, needs the shotgun dry fire. Impact effects and things like that, we can leave that. Shots per clip, a shotgun will have less bullets in a clip before you need to reload, so I can reduce that number. Leave those ones checked. Reload one at a time. We could do that. That's really good if you want to play, if you want a game where you want to build suspense and you want people to conserve their ammo. Because if someone's in a firefight and they have to reload one at a time, it can be very, it can really build a lot of tension. The reload time for a shotgun is probably going to be a little bit more than an assault rifle, so I'm just going to up that to 1.5. I am going to really reload one at a time. Up that even more. Let's make it really different. The grip. The grip is in the inventory item specs script, so this is a slightly different script. But the grip is how the character will hold the gun. So there's lots of different ways you can hold things. At the default is the rifle. I'm going to change this to be a shotgun. But notice you can also hold it like a pistol. You could hold it like a knife. You could hold it like a cleaver if you're into that sort of thing. I'm going to change that to shotgun. And this next part, which is about spawning it. So this gun you don't start with. So it's going to need to spawn in the game. The pickup spawner script is how it does that. And it comes with a bunch of properties that you can edit, including making it spin, which is the rotate time. We want to make sure that respawning is checked, otherwise you can only pick it up once. Use on collision might be handy if you want to make guns that you can just walk over and you grab them immediately. In my game, I want you to have to look at it and interact with it in order to pick it up. This is because there's going to be a lot of different guns in my game, and I don't want players to be confused when they're walking around the museum just randomly picking up guns, although that could make for a really exciting mayhem type game. I might make that. Anyway, spawn time min and spawn time max is how long to wait between when the gun is picked up before it appears again. So it could be a random time between this min and max. I'm actually going to reduce that hugely and say it's almost instant. Maybe it's 10 seconds. 10 seconds is how long it takes to respawn. So you can't sit there spamming, like grabbing it. but it's very, very quick. And I also want to check show on init, which means that if I leave that unchecked, the gun won't appear when the game starts. I want to check that so that the gun appears when the game starts. Show on init instantly, I want that to be true as well. The other parts of this gun template, this shotgun template, I could change lots of different aspects of it. I might increase the damage, for example, because I've made it longer to reload, and I've reduced the accuracy of a shotgun. So I might make the damage a bit higher so that it's kind of balances the gun a bit better. And that would need like a little bit of balancing and playtesting, but yeah, I'm just going to change it to 500. So now I have a shotgun template, and it should look and act and sound and feel like a shotgun. So I'm going to add it to this board too. I'm going to select the shotgun template from my templates over here, back in the world editing, and I'm just going to place 2 of those on that board. I'm going to delete the other shotgun so that it's not confusing. And let's try it out. I'm going to run the game. And just wait a second for things to come in. Ooh, there we go. Okay, head over to our board of desire. Notice the assault rifles haven't appeared, so that's interesting. But that's because I didn't select the show on init button on those gun templates. So that's the result of what happens there. If I look at that shotgun and press E, notice I've now picked up that shotgun. It's takes much longer to fire, but it feels bigger and more impressive to shoot. There's lots of different crosshairs you can choose as well. You might want a round one for a shotgun to show that it's slightly less accurate, especially at range. Look at that. Cool. So that's how to add an additional type of gun into your game. Okay. And that's it for this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we changed a game which didn't have guns into a game which now does have guns. And we added a new type of gun which you can run over and you can pick up, and you can explore different ways that guns can behave and look and feel. I'm going to keep working on this and make some pistols and things like that. And then I will also be looking at how to make some melee weapons, and also how to add team-based elements to this game. So there's a lobby system and there's teams and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the next bunch of tutorials. But for now, I hope you enjoy adding new guns and playing with different guns in your game.